Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Stream Masters for the final time. Hope you guys out in the audience are still awake with us here at the Intel Stream Masters. One final quarterfinal to go. That was very lackluster out there. Come on, give us a little bit. I feel like a bit of a... Okay, come on. I feel like the guy at on the end of the stage in the orchestra is like up and down. Let's bring up the bracket one final time here. As it is, as mentioned, the last quarterfinal. As you can see, 3 games have been played out, which leaves us with one final match. The match that a lot of people have been looking forward to, Piggy and Moonglady. ForGG versus Innovation. Everyone loves a good TvT, and these two guys are certainly some of the best of them. ForGG, kind of always known for his TvT last year in the past, and Innovation being one of the best Terran players in the world, always has amazing TvT to watch. So this should be a lot of fun, and I think a lot closer than a lot of people are thinking. You're of shared opinion?
Yeah, somewhat. I definitely agree that you know, you've got the powerhouse, and then you've got the guy who's had that reputation as that TvT specialist. You know, he had an insane win rate for the longest time, like 90% or something, ForGG that is. So I think that's really cool, but what I'm really thinking is exciting for me is Innovation's been playing mech every single TvT. He's so good at it positionally, but he's not super kind of in your face with it, and he's getting a little bit predictable, but I haven't seen anyone take advantage of it yet. Now ForGG, he also loves his mech, he loves his masses of Hellions, but he's a much more aggressive, in-your-face player. So I'm very curious to see how the early games match up especially.
All right, well, that's definitely something to think about as we load into this one, but let's talk a little bit about our first player here, Innovation. So Innovation, funny enough, this is his 4th time in the Intel Extreme Masters, and this is his 4th quarter-final. He's tripped over in the last 3 attempts that he's played, and now finally has a shot at reaching a semi-final. But so far this tournament, he's been looking really, really good.
Yeah, he's been looking flawless. I mean, even before this tournament, if we go back to career, he's had a great win rate this year in Pro League and in Star League and GSL. He's on top of his game, much like Sue is on the other side of the bracket. These guys coming from the same team, they're kind of riding that same wave right now. They're just playing on top of their games.
Yeah, I mean, Sue ranked #1. We mentioned that earlier on in online rating. #2, of course, Innovation. And loading into this tournament, everybody said Moonglade and Pig that it was Sue and Innovation that were going to meet in the finals. The bracket is leaned up that way too. Is that the way that this should be going as well? Is it all about Innovation, not ForGG?
Oh, I think so. I think it's the battle. Can ForGG stop the tidal wave that is Innovation? I think he's got a task ahead of him. I think he's really strong in the matchup. He's got a good understanding. But from what we've seen lately of ForGG, his form isn't quite where it was when he was at the height of his TvT, and he's going to need to pull out some special builds. Like, I don't think it's going to be a simple task.
But ForGG, it's Terran versus Terran. It's his favorite matchup. He loves playing it, and no matter how good his form or how bad his form is, this is his matchup, and it has been for a very, very long time. So loading in a game against Innovation, he's played against him multiple times before. He understands this guy's style, but whenever we have tournament brackets or group stages and we look at Innovation, look at ForGG, sorry. Whenever we see a Terran opponent, it's like, oh, that's exactly what ForGG wanted.
Yeah, I think it might be the same way this time around. I'm sure he's a lot happy that he's playing Innovation rather than Sue. It certainly is his matchup, and yeah, I certainly think ForGG going into this should be pretty positive, but he knows he's up against a monster.
Yeah, he can't get too caught up in terms of overthinking it. ForGG has to stay confident. He's one of these players where it's funny because we always say, oh, maybe he's not quite at his peak performance, but people were saying that last year going into DreamHack Winter, and he beat Life, the world champion at the time, upset everybody, went through this crazy bracket of like top Kesper players, the best Koreans in the world, and it was like, okay, ForGG, settle down there, buddy. Like, what's happening? And I mean, I haven't seen any sort of indication of that just yet in this tournament. He's looked solid, but I think this is kind of where he needs to step it up. He needs to surprise us in that way.
Yeah, ForGG's definitely been a little bit quiet in recent results, but I think he's been unlucky running into strong opponents very early on in tournaments. But I think he's still playing very good. Maybe not as good as Innovation, but Innovation. I mean, this guy solid, minimal mistakes. Obviously, his biggest weakness in his career has always been his predictability. Is that going to come into play again against ForGG then? You already mentioned a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say because, you know, it is TvT. There's not too many variations. There's no real huge advantages you can take. I think both players stylistically want to go into mech as well, so maybe there's very little chance of that actually being a real issue for either of these players going into this. Maybe we're going to see some really, like, full-body mech games, like, really drawn out.
Some epic mech versus mech games.
Yum! I want to see.
type.
I want to see something. I want to see 5 games of hour-long mech.
Could do that now, a game each time, all the way through the best of 5, end on a bang.
That'd be so cool, like especially on some of the new maps. Like we've got these new maps, they're kind of crazy, but in a best of 5 format, you get a chance to see maybe some Moonlight Madness, like TvT with mech.
Terraform, man, like that map in a mech versus mech would be disgusting, but amazing at the same time.
Yeah, like you get these situations where, well, you're not attacking front on, it's all about positioning then. I think it'd be really cool if we can get into some games like that, and I think ForGG might actually shine in those really odd situations, because Innovation's so good at getting up to a certain point, but we did see a little bit of weakness when he was playing, of course, earlier on in the tournament. There was the moment against Fantasy where he kind of just moved out against a bio army and got completely like flanked and base traded and lost that way. So he definitely, you know, he's so strong, he's so powerful, but there are areas of the game where he doesn't seem to shine quite as hard.
Well, these players are almost ready to begin this match. I'm going to put you guys on the spot for one final time. Who is taking it? Who's going to be our last semi-finalist? Is it going to be ForGG or Innovation?
Innovation 3-2.
Ooh.
I'm going to say Innovation 3-1, though I'd love it to be closer or even turned upside down.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time to begin the last quarterfinal. Which player is going to the semi-finals? Which player will compete live at BlizzCon? You got me thinking about it. You got me. Live at Gamescom tomorrow. Let's head to the commentary team for this one.
Thanks, Apollo. 2 world-class Terrans collide here in the Intel Extreme Master quarterfinals. Roddy, are you excited for this one?
Yes, I definitely think this is a matchup that makes your Terran heart beat a little faster. Now, I don't really have a Terran heart, but I'm still feeling it. I think it's going to be a good series. I do, however, think so that Innovation is a pretty damn big favorite going into this series. His TvT may not have looked flawless in the group stage, but how many times have we seen it with these guys? Group stage, playoffs, world of difference.
Do you think he's a 3-0 favorite there?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's not wait any longer here and jump into the first game where Iron Fortress here for map number 1 between these 2 titans.
Over here on the left bottom side of Iron Fortress, we're looking at the main base of one of the top favorites for this entire tournament, perhaps the best Terran player in the world. It is Innovation. Has never won an Intel Extreme Masters. This could very well be the one.
And his opponent is a little bit of a Terran versus Terran expert. Talked about it for a very long time. It is, of course, playing for Team Millennium, ForGG.
You know, Todd, how I'm feeling right now, the only thing I can think of is Daishi, grab that notebook, because the man in the left bottom side of this map is about to show you how you can finally do some
Not die in 6 minutes.
Probably not just that, probably having even a little more fun than that. Curious about the openings, we saw a lot of mech play from Innovation, and we saw Mungle joke that he hoped for 5 1-hour games. Now, Todd, I love my StarCraft, but I don't think I'm really ready for 5 1-hour mech games.
Well, what about 6 1-hour games with a draw in there?
With a draw? Well, then it's just a solo cast by Todd. I'll be on my way to Zoepisjestraße ordering a Kurdish.
I feel like both players, they play a little bit similarly in regards to, you know, they love their mech and they're going to be just doing a few Hellbat drops, some Widowmines drops here and there, and just trying to be, you know, a little bit aggressive, but at the same time keep on developing themselves. And I feel like Innovation defensively is probably going to be better, and it's probably going to want to be a little bit more defensive than ForGG here in this series, which is, I mean, again, you know, might be a very big risk by me of saying that, because there's definitely a chance he goes all out and plays really well and plays very aggressive himself. You cast quite a few TvTs yourself. How do you feel these 2 matchups stylistically?
Like you said, I think they are relatively similar. I think ForGG is kind of used to playing against a lot of European Terrans that perhaps play with some fear against them, because how many TvTs haven't we seen from ForGG where he just completely runs over his opponent in the first couple minutes? That stuff is not going to happen over here. And you know, TvT, just like most mirrors, Numbers early on are extremely important. Picking off a Reaper, picking off a Hellion can truly make the difference between a hold being rather easy or a hold suddenly turning into losing 5, 6, 7 SCVs. ForGG is often used to having phenomenal starts in his TvTs. This time, you know, Innovation is too solid. He's not going to play from behind right off the get-go. So ForGG is going to have to be very careful that he doesn't get overly confident in facing a game where he normally dominates. And now I think he's going to have to work a lot harder for any sort of advantage.
Yeah, ForGG, he actually played a very, very solid TvT game last month against Yoda in Pro League, in which he was doing a very similar build to what he's doing now, you know? Gas at 13 after the barracks, goes straight into the factory, and then behind this, the second gas was taken pretty early, and when he did that, he went for a starport super quickly, obviously, got a Raven out and a Widow Mine, and then from there, he basically played a little bit defensive on one base, making sure that he was safe, and then went into an expansion later on, and then started playing mech, you know, with some very, very solid macro. But this time around, he went for a Hellion rather than a Widow Mine, maybe because of what he thinks he's facing there. He did have the good scout early on in the game.
And this is already one of these moments where soon Innovation, of course, is going to have to be a little bit careful. Right now, we're not looking at a whole lot of units. But ForGG, we know that he loves to make something happen with 2 Reapers and then maybe a small Hellion poke. And again, TvT can be a very volatile matchup. That is a very quick Raven. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that move, actually, from Innovation, because you know that ForGG is going to be aggressive in the near future, and he's going to try to make something happen. You're going to have to be very careful. And the Ravens are good over time, but if you need something right here, right now, immediately, then often the single auto turret can be avoided.
I think Innovation, if he had scouted the gas first, then he would have gone for the Widow Mine. But now the Hellions make a lot more sense, to be honest. And it looks like he wants to be the one aggressive. ForGG is probably going to be really surprised by this. Usually he's the one applying all the pressure.
Oh, one of the Reapers actually running very low on HP. Hellions are a little bit faster, so this is awesome though for Innovation. Getting that trade, well, one Hellion does get picked off as well. Innovation even bringing 2 Marines now in this little skirmish. Second Hellion shows up as well. Innovation should be able to get an SCV kill here, perhaps.
Yeah, and behind this, Innovation is going for the Banshee Cloak. This is what he does usually when he opens for a Raven like this. And because he opened with a Raven the way he did, that Banshee Cloak is going to be really delayed. There is a chance that ForGG, you know, he really doesn't expect it. Especially if he was to see that Raven, then he's probably like, well, I guess he went for a Raven, he wants to be defensive. Usually people get a Viking behind this, but in this case, Innovation, fully knowing that he can do some damage with this, is going into the Cloak Banshee, which is not going to be expected.
Has to be a little bit careful. ForGG is running up that ramp there, and actually Innovation is waiting for him, but Innovation still has to be a little bit cautious. These are the only units that he currently has. The Hellions are a little bit low on HP. There is one more Hellion in the way.
He might be trapped.
Yeah, he's setting up a little bit of flank.
Oh.
Whoa! Okay, this is not going well for ForGG though. I thought he may have been able to do something against the 2 Hellions and 2 Marines. Instead, Innovation sets up the flank, picks up all 4 Hellions, did not lose.
The Banshee's on the way now. The Banshee's on the way. And Cloaky will be finishing in a second. What do you think Daishi is writing in his notebook right now?
Micro, set up flanks, be smart. I don't know, all of these things.
You make it sound so bad. Like it's so bad.
Daishi's great. But not a single missile turret is up yet. And like you said, Cloak is about to finish up over here.
There's going to be a Raven, but there's no entire.
There is a Viking though.
Oh my god.
Now ForGG has a Viking.
Okay, a single Viking there is going to be defending against the Banshee. And he's going to get quite a few kills before that. Already 5 have gone down, 6. Gonna get a 7s and 8s as well. Oh, ForGG losing quite a few SCVs there. Down to 24 against 31 for Innovation.
Even panicking a little bit there, getting the second engineering bay, even though he already had one. I was about to say, you don't have a whole lot of production right now.
When that happens, you know what you should do? You should go with it anyway, because you already started it.
Well,
they start Blue Flame. Look at the production time. Absolute mirror here between both of these players.
Well, other than the fact that Innovation has 6 SCVs more than ForGG, and that's something to be slightly worried about. Being down 6 workers in this phase in the game, that's just not nice. There's also, of course, a little bit of map control with this Cloak Banshee. The Raven and the Viking will go on the hunt together, try to catch up with it.
Oh, they caught that Banshee, actually. That'd be great for ForGG there. Innovation with a nice supply lead. He's actually flying his barracks forward there to try and spot whether or not he gets attacked. And in this case, he's going to be attacked, and he's going to be seen coming from very, very early on. It's so funny how they both are going to fight so hard for the air control there with the Vikings. They want to make sure that they have that. And usually ForGG, he's the one who has a ton of Hellions and makes something happen. But in this game, he's still quite a bit behind there against Innovation.
I think what's worth mentioning as well is that he was forced to use that auto turret while these Hellions are going to have a little bit of a skirmish with each other over here. And again, he gets a couple of free pickoffs.
ForGG was massively supply blocked here at 62 out of 62. He started 3 supply depots, which are about to finish, but that was big there. we had Innovation on already 80 plus supply against just 62 for 4GG. So that supply block put him really far behind now, even further behind.
4GG thinks that he's going to have a good engagement over here, but he's actually down in everything. He's down in Hellions, he's down in Vikings. He's going to land the Vikings. Do you know Innovation has a bunch of Vikings as well? There is a Banshee in the mix, and of course there's more energy on the Raven of Innovation than there is on the Raven of 4GG.
I don't know, Kev.
Because he was forced to use that one auto turret at home against that Banshee, and this is not a good fight for 4GG at all.
Yeah, he's just gonna lose pretty much everything that he had there. Gonna get chased back as well. Innovation might just go for the counter attack. And funnily enough, Innovation, having lost his barracks, he had to remake that in order to remake a factory later on if he wants to be able to. So, but right now, that counter attack was looking a little bit dangerous. 4GG though, got a few more Hellions out. Do you think he's gonna go for it, land the Vikings?
What is he gonna do with the Banshee though? Like, how's he gonna kill this Banshee if he's landing the Vikings? And if he fights the Vikings, then he's gonna lose the battle over here because there are way more
so
Vikings for Innovation.
That is so smart. He's gonna chase that Viking down, maybe even under the turret, but nope, lands them. He's gonna try to kill as many SCVs here as he can. Innovation in a very dominant position. Already 16 SCVs have died. He's just losing everything here. The natural, even if he holds at this point, he's gonna be dead, but he might not even hold. GG is called. And Innovation, he makes it look like that was 4GG against Daishi, except the other way around. He made it look really easy.
Yeah, just very solid from start to finish over here, what we saw from Innovation. It all starts with that first skirmish, you know, with the two Reapers. He picks one of the Reapers off, so suddenly 4GG is pressure. How he normally likes to be aggressive with Reapers and Hellions, it's a lot weaker because he ends up losing a Reaper, end up taking a little bit of damage, end up losing a Hellion, and by the time he finally had the 4 Hellions he wanted to move out with, well, Innovation had 4 Hellions on his own, and he had 2 Marines, and he got a couple great shots off. Just very smart movement by Innovation.
How much do you think Innovation is going to be trying to mix it up there? Do you think that's his main go-to build? Because I even called it from the start. You know, he likes to go for that Raven and then goes into Cloak Banshee a lot. If 4GG picks up on that, there is a chance he makes the proper adjustments to really counter this.
Yeah, I think if 4G is even more aggressive, squeezes out even more units early on, I think you can be in trouble a little bit with those super quick Raven builds. Now it all worked out perfectly because he was actually fighting on the other side of the map, but Innovation was fighting on the other side of the map with very few units. So if that would go wrong, 4GG could counterattack immediately, and then it's almost a good game because auto turrets, yeah, they're pretty good if they can actually fight, but these guys, they're very good in general in avoiding those auto turrets.
4GG here with a devastating first map loss. Wasn't really that close at all. He went for his own attack, got crushed, and then got countered attack and lost very, very hard there on his natural. He's not used of this. TvT is supposed to be his matchup, even though, you know, he's definitely lost a few more matches as of late compared to, you know, a while back.
I mean, like, of course 4G had a great record, but this is something we went over in the past. Like, you know, it's a Korean living in Europe. He's going to play in against a lot of Europeans and a lot of qualifiers and stuff like that. And he's one of the best players in Europe, so he's going to have a great win record. Maybe the win record from Innovation is a little less good, but Innovation is playing against Dream and Maru every second week. And, you know, if 4G goes up against those guys, then I don't know, Todd.
All right, here we go. Map number 2 is going to be Coda, and up in the top left-hand side there, playing as the blue Terran. It is
the man, the myth, the machine, Innovation. Smurfing in a tournament, but still wrapping the barcode.
Next level meta. And his opponents?
Spawning on the right bottom side of Coda. It is the Korean living in France, 4GG.
How do you think 4GG is, you know, I guess recapping this game here, that first map that just happened in his head, and wants to adjust from it? Should he maybe be a little bit less aggressive or more aggressive?
I think he has to be sharper in general. It all comes down to that early movement, losing one of these Reapers, you know, taking that fight with the Reapers and then ending up losing one of them.
Yeah.
But it's so crucial in TvT because everything matters early on, and just felt like 4G couldn't really catch a break. He was a little bit caught off guard by the Banshee as well. He had an engineering bay, and you could see he was a little bit nervous as well because he had an E-bay. He started the second E-bay, then he cancelled it, and you also mentioned it as well, it was a pretty damn big supply block. So 4G is just going to have to be a little sharper and a little cleaner, and that's just what you have to do when you go up against someone like Innovation.
Innovation, notice again, going for the gas on 13 here once again, rather than 12 like 4GG, so wants to open similarly. It seems like in TvT he really loves his gas 13 with a lot of the time it's going to be, you know, Marines into a factory, much like we saw in the last game. And he's done pretty well with it so far, you know, not just in this match, but also, you know, in some of his previous games that he had in Pro League. And there we go again, as a Marine starting. So going to be playing that build once again, most likely.
Opening up with a couple Marines, then going into Hellions. He's going to scout as well, as the SCV made it to the other side of the map, and he's going to see that ForGG will most likely once more open up with the Reaper. Of course, Coda is a great map for Reapers. I would say even better than Iron Fortress is. Even though Iron Fortress is not the worst map out there, Coda is just a dream Reaper map. There are so many ways in and out of the natural and into the main base that if ForGG is careful with them, keeps them alive, he should be able to be a real nuisance with them.
Usually the second gas for Innovation, if he goes for that build, goes down at around 346. So now in a few seconds, if he goes for that, I guess we'll know that he most likely wants to go again. Yeah, there we go. So once again, there is a very good chance he's going to go for that Raven. But actually, a good thing he could do to mix it up is to go for a rather quick Banshee with Cloak, I think.
Yeah, because imagine if that Banshee would have showed up 10-15 seconds quicker, then the Raven wouldn't have even been out yet. Yeah. And yes, there was one Viking, but one Viking is not enough anti-air to actually kill a Cloak Banshee. Even if you scan, it's just going to fly out of range.
But it feels like he gets that Raven a lot of the time just to have some strong defense against some kind of Cloak Banshee. The thing is, he scouted again this time, pretty early Innovation, and he saw what was happening. So I think he should know that there's not going to be a Cloak Banshee. So maybe he makes the proper adjustment here this time around.
ForGG is going to try to get a cheeky SCV kill. Has to be very careful though, wants to keep this Reaper alive for sure.
Could get trapped there.
Well, it's the only Reaper, so he's not following it up with that second Reaper. Does get an SCV kill. Well done there by ForGG, and should be able to get out.
Hellion is out.
And there was one more Marine left behind as well, so... probably not worth it, losing your Reaper for a single SCV. Did get a good scout, of course, and that is something, but... If I was ForGG right now, I wouldn't switch the reactor immediately. I'd probably make a few more Marines, but that's just me.
Yeah, he's maybe thinking about it there, because he's not swapping just yet. And nope, just gonna go for that. Starts the starport there as well. It's gonna be a Raven once again by Innovation. He loves that Raven, man.
I think it's just one of these go-to openings. It's just very solid. Has to be careful with his
this could actually... He could use that as a decoy and come in from behind and trap those Marines, because right now there is movement out on the map by Innovation.
Yeah, but it's just a couple Marines though, and it's going to take a while. I actually think that this Hellion is just dead in the water here, and that's going to make... Oh, there's one more Hellion coming in. That's going to make ForGG's life a little bit easier, because if that Hellion would have been full on HP, 4 Marines and 2 Hellions...
And this time it's actually looking pretty dangerous, but ForGG only engages with the Hellions there for a second. So he's going to take a bunch of damage on them. I feel like if he had waited maybe a little bit, it could have been better. But now the Raven's about to come out there for Innovation. He's going to start a second command center in a second. And he's still mining a lot of gas. Cloak Banshee behind this? I think so.
I would say it's pretty solid so far for ForGG. I mean, basically we're even right now, and he does have an orbital command, and ForGG doesn't yet. Or excuse me, Innovation. Of course, Innovation is working towards that Raven. It's going to follow it up with the Banshee, so soon he will have his chance of being the aggressor in this series. But so far, so good for ForGG.
No Cloak this time. Went for a Widow Mine instead here, Innovation. I think he knew that it was going to be expected, so doesn't go for it.
With a couple of Marines being picked up as well by that medevac, and this could potentially do some damage. Once again, you know, the Ravens can be very strong defensively, but if you can avoid them, if you can force them to drop another turret...
Oh, that's an elevator?
And then just get to fight somewhere else. Man, Innovation is so good. His spider senses were just tickling. He's like, I have the feeling you're picking up something. He's going to pick up everything. He's going to drop everything into the main base, but here is that auto turret. You want to get away from that auto turret as quick as possible, because it has way too much HP. But this
ForGG is going to sack the Hellions to try and get as many SCVs as he can, but Innovation reacts so quickly, evacuates with the SCVs, and I think ForGG could see that he wasn't going to be able to get much there, so he just going to evacuate, drop into the natural, and right now he's not really able to do much. Innovation, he has a Viking about to come out there to try and shut this down completely, finally.
I mean, he didn't really take all that much damage yet. He's a couple workers down, but that's about it. Oh, that I hope he knows about the Widow Mine. I don't think he does. ForGG is going to end up losing his medevac, and that's a massive loss. 3 Hellions and a medevac.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And now Innovation, he's got a reactor starport. He's going to start getting those bad boys 2 by 2. Is he going to get Blue Flame this time or go into tank production? A lot of the time it's going to be Blue Flame, you know, which is the, I guess, standard and safe, but no. Oh no, it is ForGG that's, okay, so he does go into Blue Flame. ForGG, though, already into tank production. That's funny, like ForGG, we kind of realized that this game is not going to be able to do much against a guy that's already on 2 factories, so he's like, well, I might as well start tank production, because I'm going to have to be fairly defensive.
I was about to say, Innovation, if you just drive him up, you're playing with absolute fire, but he was paying attention and will send them back immediately. He didn't really eat a whole lot of shots. He's going to have air dominance once more, air supremacy with these 3-4 Vikings. ForGG wants to move out as well.
This is the same move out as last game, except with different units. He actually has tanks this time, and that barracks, man.
The Widow Mine.
It's being flown by Nathanias himself. Look at this.
This Raven is going to be very important. Could potentially drop a point defense throw. And again, this barracks is going to die. That's frustrating for Innovation because he's going to have to rebuild it if he wants to ever get more factories. Or maybe he can just win another game on a single
ForGG
factory.
wants to go into bio. Is he not confident mech versus mech against somebody like Innovation? Or
I'm not sure. It could be. I mean, Koda is not the worst map for it out there. I think it's very smart that ForGG didn't just commit to running into the Zelnaga watchtower when there was a Widowmine there. It was a good move.
Innovation restarts the barracks again. He needs to stop this move.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
terrible.
Well, in the previous game, thought he never really needed factory number 2 and 3.
Yeah.
He did it with number 1. Blue Flame is about to finish up. It's going to be very hard to breach into the natural because there are 3 tank seats up there. But this Cloak Banshee is still getting some work done. You know, during all this, during the majority of the game, ForGG has been enjoying a small work.
Oh, the Vikings, this was a trap. Could actually get a few kills there. And that Raven actually has so much energy there. Oh my god. If he was to drop down a few turrets there, might be able to get some SCVs.
That's another Viking. That's 2 Vikings for a single Banshee. I think that was an okay trade. The first Viking, well, I think that was acceptable. The second Viking was rather unfortunate for ForGG.
Already being on 2 factories there. Innovation's just going to go for an armory for now, and we should be seeing a few factories being added on in a second, because he's going to definitely need a little bit more production than this, even though right now he's got quite a few Vikings. What's the Viking count actually for both right now? We've got 5 for Innovation and 3 for ForGG, but going bio, do you think he goes for a timing there already, having that insane tank count there?
I mean, it's hard to call it a timing after the way that this game has played out so far. It's been a lot of small skirmishes. Yeah, I mean, eventually he definitely wants to go for a big attack, but it's going to take a while, right? Just Stimpack being researched right now, Combat Shield just being researched right now. A couple of Hellions being unloaded into the main base, and Blue Flame has indeed finished up, but he doesn't really get a whole lot. Oh my god, Innovation is just a sick puppy. He picks up everything.
He's a beast.
With a 10 HP medevac, but he saw the Vikings being landed, so I guess it was an okay play.
Innovation is an absolute beast. Look at this, starts pulling ahead in supply. He was quite a few SCVs behind, but somehow every single aggression is perfectly controlled. 52 SCVs to 41. I think ForGG has to go for an attack here no matter what.
I almost feel ForGG has been building workers for a while. He of course ended up losing 10 workers in the last 2-3 minutes. First the Banshee, then the Hellions. But he was ahead in workers for 3 or 4. Then he lost a couple, and now suddenly he's down 10 plus workers. And during all this, Innovation went up to 3 bases. ForGG hasn't really had any map presence ever since, you know, that first move out. Doesn't even know about the fact that Innovation is already on 3 bases. ForGG is going to be extremely committed to the first big move out he makes, because if he doesn't make any plays there, he's going to fight an almost impossible uphill battle.
I'm pretty sure he wants to go for it here in a second. Innovation was actually looking to try and run by here in that 3rd base, saw that there was none, scans the natural, sees a lot of tank and bio moving out. I think right now he knows that he has to set up for the defense, but he's actually going to go for a counter-attack here. Not just to buy some time, but to completely wreck the economy of ForGG, who doesn't have a wall off up the ramp. So those Hellions are actually going to get into the main.
All the SCVs are lined up. Unfortunately, those Blue Flame Hellions won't get another shot off. The Vikings will try to save the main base mineral line. That wasn't all that bad, I believe. Well, 10 more workers going down.
Yeah,
oh my god,
this
it's 64 against 34. But army supply right now, 87 against 60. This is pretty much the moment. If ForGG wants to win this game, guys, he's going to have to absolutely crush Innovation's defense over here.
If I was ForGG Innovation, I think I'd pull some SCVs as well. He's 30 SCVs ahead. Imagine he pulls 15 to try and tank for his actual tanks there. That'd be really smart. But ForGG, do you think ForGG wants to get in there and properly attack, or does he want to try to siege slowly?
No. He has to time his enemy right now, Todd. He's down 30 workers. The longer this takes, the better it will be for Innovation.
Innovation wasn't sieged there for a second. He's finally going to siege now. The Vikings come in from the left-hand side. He's trying to hold on. No SCVs are being pulled. And ForGG is actually doing pretty well right now in that fight.
I almost feel that Innovation should try to squeeze out a Banshee or 2. He's going to end up losing 1 more tank. Like you said, Todd, not all of the tanks were sieged for Innovation at first. He's still up in supply, but that is mostly workers. Oh, those Vikings could have sniped both medevacs.
Oh, killing those factories there. This is a massive big deal, because that's a big part of the production there of Innovation. That's big scan here up the ramp. If he can save some more tanks, then ForGG, even though his units are really low, he's got 2 medevacs healing permanently there. He's actually going to chase some of these Vikings, and if they take off, they're going to get sniped by the Marines.
Yeah, all of these Vikings are going to go down. That was a missed opportunity for Innovation. He could have killed both of these 2 medevacs, which means that these bio units couldn't have stimmed anymore. Instead, he landed all the Vikings and didn't really get anything done with it.
Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, ForGG is in a magnificent position right now.
Innovation is still on 56 SCVs, but quite a few of those are trapped outside on the map there right now, and he's only mining on one of his command command centers. On the other side, we have ForGG, who, even though he doesn't have that many SCVs, they're still mining across his 2 bases, and he's still got some production going.
I have no idea what Innovation should do right here. ForGG doesn't have to do this. He's just going to drop a bunch of bio units on top of these tanks.
Wow.
He wants to end the game right here, right now, and he does get both tanks. Doesn't have to make these plays at all, Todd. He's doing more than fine. Let's hope he doesn't throw it, because he's been putting himself in a great position. Suddenly, supply-wise, it's getting a lot closer again.
Yeah, ForGG lost so much here with this last drop. He wanted to break through. He knew that his economy was really not that good. Didn't want to just do a lockdown, so he goes forward. And he's still going to be trading there, pulling back here and trying to prevent mining from the second base. Those SCVs, yeah, but they might as well fight if they're going to get there, because they won't do that well.
Most of them are indeed going to die. Maybe the tanks could have done a little bit of friendly fire. I mean, ForGG has been out mining Innovation for the last 2 minutes, ever since his attack started, because Innovation has only been mining of 1 base. Hellbat drop on top of the tank. Innovation will get 1 of them, but you know, Bio should be superior in this phase in the game.
How many factories does he have in his main? 3? Okay, that's actually not that bad. If he had only 2, I think he'd already be dead. But right now he's holding on.
Oh, look at that orbital command, by the way. It's almost burning down the left one, and Innovation is not really paying attention. He's taking care of his Hellbats. He was able to pick off 1 more tank.
I saw it.
Okay.
That tank up the ramp here really helped in defending quite a bit. I think he needs to live there for a second, while he keeps on leapfrogging towards with the tank, and Innovation trying to stay alive here in this game.
This would actually be such a sick, magnificent hold if Innovation somehow, some way pushes ForGG away, and that's exactly what happens. Great positioning on his tanks. I can't believe he's still alive, and he's actually up in Workenstad, and he still has that orbital command. Oh, he's going to try to drop in the main base once again on top of that tank.
Gets it and then gets out. This has been a crazy Medivac dropping on top of Army Fests, man, the whole time. Here between these two, ForGG thought he could finish it, not quite able to do it just yet. And they're still fighting. Like, this is like 2 units fighting against 2 units for like the last 10 minutes, non-stop.
Oh, but this is great. There's absolutely no anti-air over here. So these the barracks is going to go down one more time.
Oh my god, not again. Nathanias, land that thing.
Missile turret is going to try to keep these tanks safe for now. ForGG again, Todd is going to try to drop in the main base, but there are turrets everywhere. Don't do that.
Yeah. What's on the top left-hand side? There was something on the minimap. I see, like, on the top left-hand side.
It was just a medevac.
What was he doing there?
I don't know, it's miscontrolled. Did you see that tank shoot at the missile turret?
Yeah.
That tank was so mad he couldn't shoot at the medevac, he shot at the missile turret instead.
3rd command center there, going down right now for, actually, is that the 4th command center?
No, that's the 4th.
Why? He could have just made factory. Well, I guess he wants to, he feels confident somehow.
I think one of the reasons why is he's also down in the Viking count currently, and he knows that having vision is everything, so he's going to be forced to burn a lot of scans. So I think this...
and also he's going to man out his bases, so using mules is not actually that useful, as opposed to just producing units. ForGG is finally doing a lockdown there, by the way, after failing the initial one, because he wanted to be too aggressive.
Has to be careful there.
Did this completely stop tank production? No, he's getting them 1 by 1.
ForGG, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he only has 1 factory, so...
Yeah, but... well, I mean, he could have made another one, but... I mean, gone into full bio, but yeah, he's getting tanks 1 by 1.
I mean, he has not really rebuilt the SCVs that he lost early on. ForGG is still working on 39 SCVs. Innovation is on 60 SCVs, but of course he can't really use all of them, because I mean, technically I guess he could, but the main base, well, main base is pretty much done. It's done.
Is he gonna move out? Innovation scans. He sees the full army here of ForGG right now. Sensor Tower is gonna go down for ForGG. He wants to go for the full lockdown experience here against Innovation. This game reminds me of those PvPs where, you know, you kill a lot of probes, and the opponent makes like a massive army, he attacks you, and then you don't have enough to hold. Well, I feel like it was kind of similar to that.
I mean, I love the spread over here by ForGG, right? Like, it's going to be hard to attack into this, especially when you're the mech player. He's even going to pull a bunch of SCVs, Todd, because he has to. He knows he needs more resources, so he wants to break out right here, right now. Hellbats are pretty tanky units, but the Marauder count is very high. Does Innovation have enough to break this self-contained by ForGG?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Those Medivacs doing a fantastic job healing everything. And ForGG here, he was waiting for this to happen. Innovation has to tap out, and ForGG brings it back with a fantastic heal lockdown at the end, saying basically, you're gonna have to move out or you're dead. And if you move out, you're dead anyway.
Now, a very cool game over here. Got very hectic. ForGG was extremely committed to his first attack, but you pointed it out very well, Todd. Did Innovation already have to siege on the low ground? Well, I'm not even sure about that. But most of his tanks weren't even sieged. A couple of them were sieging during that very first attack. After that, though, he made a magnificent hold, because I thought he was super dead, because he was basically mining off one base. You know, his orbital commands were scattered all over the place. There were SCVs long distance mining to the right top side of the map. You know, I really thought it was super over. But then ForGG perhaps got a little over-eager, threw away a few too many units. But in the end, he kept his head calm, kept up the soft contain, and that was good enough.
This guy here on your screen, he apparently never plays better than when he's backed into a corner and with a very few SCVs left, because this time he actually properly went for the real big attack. And I feel like Innovation, he misread this completely, because he made his sensor towers to spot, you know, medivacs in the main or an attack at the third base, but he never thought that ForGG would attack with everything at the front, because in the end it's the obvious choice. So he probably thought that ForGG will think that Innovation is going to be ready between the two bases, so that's where we'll be set up. But nope, Innovation sets up with the Vikings on the left-hand side, only a few tanks on siege in the middle, and in the end that attack is too fast and too hard for him to be able to, I guess, hold comfortably and be ahead.
I also really think where it went wrong for Innovation is when he flew those 6 Vikings behind the army of ForGG, and he missed the 2 medevacs. If he kills those 2 medevacs, Todd, there is no more stimming anymore for those remaining units. I think he's able to secure his natural a lot quicker. He keeps 6 Vikings alive, cuts off some of the reinforcements, and I think he's going to be okay. But he landed all 6, didn't kill the medevacs, and then ended up losing all 6 Vikings as well. For what? Maybe 1 Marauder and 1 Marine. Like, that was an absolutely atrocious trade for Innovation.
Yeah, that was a great game for ForGG to bring it back here in this series. The score is now 1-1. And this could get crazy here because we're on Moonlight Madness, Roddy.
Yeah, it's very cool. I have not casted a whole lot of TvTs on this map or a whole lot of games in general, but I do think it's a very fun map to play on, and hopefully it's going to provide a sick game over here as we're looking at the main base of the SKT1 Telecom Terran. It is Innovation.
Always looks very focused. Start of these games.
He looks
the
like
whole
a
time.
machine. Like,
Yeah.
he absolutely looks like a machine.
He was sent from the future to win tournaments. And his opponent, starting on the top right-hand side there, he brought it back very nicely in the last game, playing for Team Million. It is ForGG. Was underestimated by a lot of people there that thought that this was going to be one-sided, but he already won 1 map there. It was pretty nice.
That was definitely a close call, though. But, you know, 1-1 in a best of 5. If he takes second map in somehow, some cheeky way, then suddenly he would have 2 match points against Innovation. And if ForGG is able to knock out Innovation over here in the quarterfinals, that would be a pretty damn big upset to me. And there will always be a couple of diehard Terran fans who say, like, that's not a surprise at all. ForGG is really good in TvT, but
absolutely, yeah.
Innovation, man. Like, he's playing in Korea, he's playing against the best Terrans in the world over and over again. And of course, ForGG has had a good record, but you know, doing it in Europe or doing it in Korea is just 2 whole different things.
Yeah. Both players are changing it up there. We had ForGG with this Gas first against Innovation, who went for Rax 11 and Gas 11. So some kind of fast Reaper for Innovation, whereas ForGG, he wants to go for the very quick factory. So he's not going to have much on the ground. And since there is 2 entrances and a ramp on the left-hand side, there is a chance that Innovation, you know, goes for 2, maybe even 3 Reapers, and really tries to get in there and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the rush distance on this map from ramp to ramp isn't really all that far. So a couple of these crazy aggressive openings could be devastating to deal with. And I kind of hope that it goes into a later stage of the game, because at the 15 to 20 minute mark, this could become a very dynamic TvT. Because even if you play mech here, Todd, as medevacs, there are so many paths you can take to drop behind enemy lines, to maybe pick off tanks here and there. So I kind of hope for a mech versus bio late game scenario, because that could provide an extremely entertaining game on this map.
Yeah, I think I like it too. To be honest, I like anything. Marine tank against Marine tank is also crazy fun, I think, and mech against mech also can be, unless he's very, very turtly. Even then sometimes, to be honest, with some of the moves that these players can pull. And Innovation already going into his second Reaper there. He's going to be starting a command center there momentarily. What does he go into behind this? You think a 3rd Reaper?
Yeah, could be. I mean, or maybe just a quicker factory, so you can follow. You can go 2 Reapers into Hellions. That's a build we saw ForGG use a couple of times in his recent TvTs, and I even had the feeling that he wanted to do that in game number 1, Iron Fortress.
It's so interesting how he keeps the 1st Reaper there in the middle of the map, by the way. Not to reveal his hand just yet. Neither player went for a scout there, by the way. So that's going to be a complete surprise by ForGG, I think. We'll probably fully expect Innovation to have opened in a similar way there to what he did so far in the series.
All right, with a Hellion and 2 Marines over here, I think ForGG should be more than fine. Both Reapers will jump into the main base immediately. Make sure you don't end up losing your Reapers.
Oh my
Ends up
God.
losing one of them, and that's actually really bad. We saw that on Iron Fortress. You want to keep these units alive.
He was getting a third one as well, so he's committing a lot to this, their innovation, and right now his Reaper is getting chased down by the Hellion. I really thought that innovation was going to go through the back door, by the way, to enter, but that Hellion here is going to get chased down and take quite a bit of damage itself. It's going to be able to get away. Behind this, we have ForGG already getting a medivac out. If ForGG drops on the right-hand side here of the main of innovation, you know, in that area, and then walks in there or drives in there with some Hellions, I feel like this really could surprise innovation. But like you said before, he's got, you know, that spider sense. He knows most of those timings and when they could hit him. And already having spotted a few Marines, innovation should know about the timing that could hit him there.
I'm getting a little excited though, because this is kind of the way that I know ForGG loves to open up in TvTs, and he's often so surprisingly good and effective with these crazy builds. He's just going to hit very hard, and he's going to have slightly more units than Innovation, who went for that command center on the low ground as well. Innovation has absolutely no idea that this is about to happen. He's going to check it with the Hellion. He wants to take out these rocks because he's worried about that elevator play that's happening right now. But I don't think he has enough damage output to take out these rocks. Oh my god, this is going to be really good, I think, for ForGG.
He needs to react very quickly there and start pulling back immediately.
Man, these rocks are not going to go down. You need to pull SCVs pretty much immediately, because ForGG has way more units over here than Innovation has.
Yeah, he has to pull SCVs. He's going to start losing quite a few of them here. Even though he's taking a lot of damage and losing these units, ForGG, I think he's going to be happy with what he's achieved. 7 SCV kills. He's really brought it back in his favor.
I feel that could have gone worse for Innovation. I really think that could have gone worse. That Reaper dies though, and that's unfortunate because there is nothing in this bunker. But that was a really good spread by Innovation.
ForGG is still on one base, by the way. He hasn't started the command center, so I think he's going to be committing here to a big timing with some tanks. And since Innovation isn't getting his own tanks, it's going to be so hard for him to hold on.
Yeah,
how can you hold against a tank push here in this situation?
Maybe some counter-aggression or anything like that, or just try to squeeze out your own tank as quick as possible. I do think Innovation is going to start a tech lab as soon as possible. He's going to spot this army that was marching across the map, end up losing a Hellion.
That was really bad. Losing some very important units there, and he realizes that he needs to start his own tank production here. Otherwise, he's going to get sieged and killed, even if he has air control, to be honest. And in this case, ForGG, you know, the clock's running out there. He needs to start moving across the map, but maybe one tank's not enough, so he's going to wait for at least a second one to be there. And there we go. He starts smashing across the map here. ForGG is going to all come down to that push here.
What about just evacuating the low ground if you're Innovation right now? Send the SCVs to your main base and fly over the orbital. Like, I wouldn't try to bother defending my low ground.
I think that could be really good, but he's Innovations. If he's doing that, there might be some truth to it.
We'll see. I don't think that he should try to hold this over here on the low ground. It's going to be way too risky. Your tank isn't even out yet. It seems like he wants to make a hold over here, though. He wants to stay strong. There is a Banshee follow-up for ForGG, which I like a lot. But Innovation, you can't take this fight. Not against these Marines.
He's absolutely trapped in that natural. Those two tanks, they're going to do so much there by ForGG. Innovation trying to siege his own tank here to try and shoot some of these Marines down. But ForGG will just target down that command center.
It's taking a lot of damage. A lot of these SCVs will fall. Innovation is going to pull the SCVs, but he's misreading this, man. He's taking way too much damage. Maybe he thought that ForGG had a expand behind this or something like that, but it's just a one-base push. This orbital command will fall, and perhaps against all odds, against all expectations, ForGG takes a 2-1 lead soon, or unless, you know, like, Innovation pulls out a bunny out of his head. I have no idea how he's supposed to have a defend this on one base now.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough there. Having lost 12 more SCVs, ForGG is just so far ahead in the tank count, in supply, in everything. He's got a few less SCVs, but I don't think he cares too much because that siege is going to be a really strong one. If Innovation, I guess, kind of flies back his barracks there, though, he might be okay if he's able to, you know, kind of hold on. But ForGG is going to get right in there. He knows that there's only 2 tanks. He's getting a crude Banshee as well. Behind this as a follow-up. He's going to do so much more damage. The tanks here do finally go down for Innovation. He's still got 1 left. But so many SCVs are going to die, even if this is healthy. And I don't think it will be. Innovation in so much trouble.
Has absolutely nothing anymore. Has only 12 SCVs. He's going to pull the remaining bits of his economy. That one tank is pretty much the last thing that Innovation is relying on right now. Look at these SCVs go, Todd, with their little drilling claws, trying to disassemble this tank. But a new tank has shown up, and I think the writing is on the wall for this game. Yeah. Sick push by ForGG, but I think Innovation just misread it a little bit.
Sue and Innovation, the 2 big favorites here in these tournaments. To make it far and do well, Innovation, you know what? you shouldn't count out ForGG, because even though he's a Korean player that moved to Europe a while back, he is still a pretty damn good player here at TvT, and he showed it once again.
He has very good build orders, and I felt from start to finish this game, almost everything that ForGG did just went very well for him. He picked up that first Reaper, then he went for that Marine Hellion play, which I just think is very cool. I mentioned it, the rush distance from ramp to ramp isn't very far, and of course you have to worry about these backdoor rocks. Innovation was indeed worried about it, started working on it, but he just didn't have enough DPS to actually prevent this from happening, so all those units would just roll into his main base, and from that point on I already felt Innovation was in a tiny bit of trouble. But we are in the middle of our final quarterfinals of day 4 over here at the Intel Extreme Masters. We're going to head to a very small break, and after that we'll be back with game number 4 between SKT1's Innovation and Millennium's ForGG.
Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom ForGG is now up 2-1 against Innovation, Roddy. Well, what's going on here?
Well, we said in the start of the series that Daishi should be taking notes, and so far I got this one from Twitch. The only note he's taken is, I have to be better than Innovation to beat ForGG. Good luck, Daishi. One day, hopefully you'll get there. The dream is alive. Even though the series is not over yet, game number 4 is going to be played on Terraform. That's a slightly larger map when it comes to from ramp to ramp. There's also a lot of different paths. Like, I think if Innovation makes it to a certain phase of the game, he should, most of the time, he should be fine, right? Like, I think his super late game is really solid, but ForGG truly excels in early to early mid game.
All right, here we go on Terraform. Starting on the top left-hand side of the map there. Playing as the blue Terran. It is, of course, Innovation. Needs to bring it back. Don't think he expected to meet too much trouble in this tournament other than for Sue, and somehow he's on the verge of elimination there.
He's so mad right now, Todd. He's going to unleash
He looks
the
mad.
beast. Yeah, exactly. Over in the right bottom side of the map, we're looking at the main base of the man who wants to keep the dream alive of winning his first IEM. It is ForGG. As of course, a title under his belt already. It's been a little bit of a disappointing year so far for ForGG, and I know that sounds crazy, guys, because he's like, well, I've seen him win quite a few things here and there, right? He hasn't gone all the way. You look at the lineup of WCS, and then you go into Season 1 with, you know, in mind that ForGG just won one of the most stacked tournaments of 2014, which was DreamHack Winter, and everyone thought that ForGG was going to win at least one, maybe even 2 WCS championships so far, and he didn't even get close. Like, Season 1 quarterfinals, well, okay, you know, that could happen, but in the Season 2 it went wrong for him in the round of 16, and that's just not what a lot of people expected. So this would be a great chance for him to avenge himself for those disappointing performances, and maybe even get a tournament titleship under his belt in 2015.
If was there, he would have said ForGG gets a chance at redemption. Dramatized it for sure, but yeah, we actually had both players there open with a gas, but a much later one there for Innovation. In this case, doesn't want to open once again with the Reaper. He's the only guy to go for quick scouts, it seems, by the way, in this matchup.
I like the opening in the previous game from Innovation, and I thought even the hold against the Marines and the Hellions was very solid on Moonlight Madness. It's more just that it went wrong at the follow-up, and I'm not sure, like, he didn't check the natural. That's a very quick factory, of course, for ForGG here, 305. That's, you know, gas first into factory. That's pretty much as quick as they come. The Reaper is going to be the first unit of choice, though, regardless for ForGG, but I really think Innovation just misread the build from ForGG, and if he knew that ForGG was on one base, he could have just evacuated the low ground and tried to hold on the high ground, and I think it would have been manageable. Still tough, but manageable.
Do you think he maybe got a little bit upset from the previous game with the big mistake that he had, you know, with the defense and everything, or even not sniping those medivacs, and he let that affect him?
He doesn't seem like the type of guy that gets very upset, though. Like,
he has a good poker face, yeah. I have to admit.
Exactly. Like, even if he rages, you will never be able to tell, and even if he wins, you'll never be able to tell.
Imagine playing poker with Innovation.
Like, Innovation loves winning so much, he hates winning ceremonies. He's like, hey, I could be sitting down right now and win another game of StarCraft. Why am I wasting my time over here waiting for this little speech and the people giving me a trophy? I want to win another game.
And right now it's going to be ForGG trying to get in there here with his Reaper. Gets a little bit of information. He's going to see the timing at which the starports
wants to be careful. Has to be careful. There's one Marine over there on the right side. This Reaper is trapped out and is going to die without even killing a single SCV. Of course,
I got the info that the starport is a little bit later there for Innovation, though.
But I mean, look at the follow-up. He has another Reaper, he has another Hellion. That's so weird, though, because you can see ForGG hop into a main base against the European Terran like 900 times, and he almost never ends up losing the first Reaper. And now it happened already twice in this series. And it really makes his follow-up push quite a bit weaker here. Because 2 Hellions and 2 Reapers is a lot harder to deal with than 1 Hellion and 2 Reaper.
He loves that build. I really like it, to be honest. This time he's actually playing against a gas first, so he knows that a Banshee is very likely. So getting that Raven there, basically he's going to have that plus the Widowmine to defend against some kind of Banshee. But in this case, ForGG, I think, did he cancel his Banshee and start a Viking?
Yep, there is no Banshee out on the
he's playing it really smart. ForGG identified what was going to happen if he went for a Banshee, and he had just accordingly. Both of these guys, they play the mind game so well, and they're so good in TvT. This is insane. Like ForGG going for his own Raven now.
Why do you think that ForGG is going for an Viking before his own Raven, though? That doesn't make any sense to me. Unless he thought that maybe
he didn't, I think he didn't have the
Banshee.
gas because he didn't go for a second gas as fast as Innovation. Even though he's got quite a bit. I don't know, man.
Maybe it's just he's just trying to be safe. Of course, this means that the Raven of Innovation will have slightly more energy over time, and we saw that being pretty crucial in one of the encounters in an earlier game in this series. As another Reaper tried to hop into the main base, but
Yeah, he saw the Raven in the second command center, though. So that's at least a little bit of information there that he got.
let's
And
just say, I know-
ForGG, second CC on location. YOLO! He feels comfy enough. And I can't blame him, to be honest. Even though he's lost some Reapers, you know, he's getting his production going here at home, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wants into tank pretty quickly, whereas Innovation...
Oh, I like the Widow Mine. It's gonna connect with the Hellion. Oh, I think he saw it, man. ForGG is very fast.
Yeah. Blue Flame started actually for ForGG, so he's going into more Hellions, and he's going to be playing that Hellion heavy side that he loves so much, and getting a lot of Vikings there as well. Most likely for, I think, an attack.
Scan is gonna go down in the main base, and it's a very solid scan as he spots the Raven, spots the Viking, also spots the tech lab on that factory that's
Yeah.
researching Blue Flame right now. So
Since there is no more siege research, it's pretty. You can be pretty sure of what your opponent is getting when you see that spinning.
yep. In the old days, of course, you had to research it. In Legacy of the Void thought, siege. You can just pretty much always keep him siege. You don't even have to roll. You just pick him up.
Yeah.
Just fly around. Sees Hellion's gonna poke in, try to chase the Widowmine down, but it will survive for now. Pretty damn even game. Small worker advantage for Innovation, but nothing big.
Are we gonna see that 1 hour game here finally that Moonglade had hoped for?
Well, there's a chance.
Oh, the barracks! Come on, not again. It's the same timing every time too. Like he meets the 3 Vikings on the map, dies, and then he has to restart it because he didn't have enough factories.
I mean, at least he...
Nades!
Most of the time he realizes immediately. It's been very... okay, he's gonna land it for now. Now the Hellions could potentially start working on it.
He's learned finally.
Takes a while for Hellions to kill a Rex, so I guess the Rex is safe. ForGG would love it if Innovation would just move out soon and would underestimate the strength of his army. This barracks is still going to die though, and that does really suck.
If he has as many Vikings, he can actually engage into this after the Vikings of ForGG shoot, because they would have
doesn't.
already have shot on the barracks.
Oh, that was really cool. You saw that he put the Hellions under the Rex, so the Rex couldn't land yet, so the Vikings got one more volley off, and he was gonna kill it for sure. I mean, it will all come down. Every single volley, every single wave right now of these Vikings is extremely important. They both players really have to stay on top of their Viking control. This is kind of cool as well, though. He's just going to Seeker Missile this tank,
And
and
get the
now all
Widow
these
Mine as
Blue
well.
Flame Hellions. Todd, all these Blue Flame Hellions. Does Innovation actually have enough to fight his army right now?
Yeah, he's gonna have to no matter what, and he's already lost some SCVs. He's trying to push this back. He's got a Banshee, a Raven here, really trying to help as much as possible. But the guiding by ForGG was insane. He just pulled back out of the range of that tank, and he's just gonna evacuate here for now. ForGG, the only player here with Blue Flame in this game so far, by the way. I think that really helped as well.
I can't win this Viking skirmish yet. Needs one more Viking. Now he can turn around technically and fight this. It's 4 against 4, but one of the Vikings is very low on HP. He realizes that he's gonna start this fight, and ForGG will win. He will win this Viking skirmish for now. Don't chase too far though, as the reinforcements have arrived for Innovation. And Innovation is the one who laughs last.
What a back and forth game here. Third command center is gonna start by ForGG, who, by the way, went for another factory. So it's gonna be mech against mech, Roddy. Are you happy?
Yeah, I can dig it. As long as we see a dynamic mech game, that's how I like it. I think in general, mech versus bio is slightly more fun to watch, but that's just personal preference for me. There can be beauty in mech versus mech, but like you said, it can also be dull. We'll see. Well, I mean, it's a very big game regardless, so
Yeah.
I'm sure both players are going to give it their all, and we'll always try to look for any sort of opportunity, try to make a play here and there.
Innovation is trying to play a little bit of catch-up there. He's trying to get his own third base. He's getting an armory as well. And he's getting Blue Flame. So he wants to match that of ForGG. He's still a little bit ahead in supply. And 3 more factories there for ForGG. So we're going up to 5 in a second.
His production is going to be pretty much where he
Yeah,
wants
where are
it.
the factories? Actually, Funka he's asking us with clicks. That's how good this guy is. He's asking us where are the factories for Innovation, because right now he's not adding on any extra ones.
He's going out with a pretty scary push though, Todd. He's up 13 supply right now. The Viking count is currently still in favor of Innovation as well.
Oh my god.
Man, he got a little too ambitious with that tank. We'll end up losing the
He was
tank.
sending the Vikings behind to try and get us around, I think. But not gonna get it.
Auto turret wall, force field.
He missed it.
He needed to go for the auto turret force
And
field
the
there.
barracks is back again. Oh my god. Innovation is going to get right in there. It seems like he has a lot. He's going to be landing those Vikings here against ForGG, trying to get as much surface area. He hit a timing just when Blue Flame finished, and it's looking like he might just have too much. 57 army supply to 32. ForGG is trying to hold on, but with just one single tank here up the ramp, it's going to be so hard for him to actually stay alive in this game.
All these SCVs, Todd, all of the SCVs would just line up at the ramp. 20 SCVs going down. Even if he backs off here, Todd, he can be more than satisfied. He killed so much.
Yeah.
Those auto turrets completely messed up these Hellions and Vikings from ForGG, as he had quite a few units defensively himself. But auto turrets, they're just so tanky, so beefy. Innovation's gonna go for it. He's gonna land the Vikings, pick up the tank over here, and this might actually just be it. 106 supply against 54. The power of the Raven, the power of having some Raven energy. Those auto turrets were so big, so massive in that battle. And GG is called. And the machine will evens up the series.
Innovation here. It felt like he knew exactly that he had way more army, so he didn't care to go for the fight. A little bit sloppy with the tanks at first, but since he had so much more anyway, it didn't really matter. And it's interesting to note that he was still on only 2 factories against the 5 of ForGG that were about to finish. So if this had hit like even 30 seconds later, there might have been, another wave of units for ForGG and he would have had enough.
Yeah. So it's definitely a decision for Innovation, because like building 3, 4, 5 factories, that's a lot of resources as well. That's resources that goes into your production, into your super late game. While Innovation just put everything into units and made a push that could hit as hard as possible. And like you said, even ended up losing one of his tanks against Hellions, only killed a single Hellion for it, but those Raven, man, or that one Raven and that Raven energy, those auto turrets are just magnificent in these Hellion skirmishes. Also because they take priority. It's very weird, but whenever you attack move, for some reason everyone has the ambition to shoot at the auto turret, and it's like, Hellions, please, you do extra damage to all the Hellions. Please don't shoot at a building which, it takes you forever to kill because you have no DPS.
Yeah. Oh, so are you liking that Raven opener yet?
I mean, it's Innovation. Like, who am I to ever question Innovation's opening in TvT? Like, I think if I would ever sit down, it's like, hey, we need to have a chat about your opening. I'm not a big fan. Like, I think it would just smack me in the face, and I would deserve it, Todd. Like, I wouldn't deserve anything less.
You wouldn't hit back?
No, not at all. I wouldn't wash my cheek for a week.
Okay, ForGG there. He's gonna need to stay in this. I have to say, this might be a really bothering loss here for him, to be honest. Like, it's not like he was doing really bad. There was a few attacks here and there, and some of those he did really, really good. The initial attack here towards the end, where he was across the map, the Seeker missile blew up a tank plus a Widow Mine, and then he didn't look like he was doing too bad. But then the counter attack just wasn't quite ready for it. Maybe he went into tanks a little bit too early.
Yeah, and he just put too much into production, right? Like, all these factories, they're not cheap, and Innovation just put everything into units. It was a pretty cool, dynamic back and forth TvT, where I thought the attack, where he made the Seeker missiles, look pretty damn promising as well. Could have gone for auto turrets maybe on that moment too, but you can't really run into a natural if there's a tank siege there. Like, that one tank would have just pushed out way too much damage. Either way, we will be hopping into game number 5 real soon. It's awesome to see this TvT series going to distance. We haven't had our super long game yet. Hopefully this is the map, as this is a map that has provided some very long games, as of course we are entering Cactus Valley.
And it's starting in the top right hand side there. It is the machine himself playing for team SKT1. It is of course Innovation. Look at him. He looks so happy to have won that last map.
He's so mad. He's like, I've lost already 2 more maps and I want to lose this entire tournament. Over here on the right bottom side of the map, he's putting up a surprisingly good fight so far. Can he close it out? It is ForGG. I have been impressed though, Todd, I really have, because like going up against Innovation in a TvT series, it's one hell of a task. And MMA did say in one of the interviews, right, that if Innovation travels, he's not the same player. But I also think that comes with experience. And every journey Innovation makes, he's going to play better and better abroad. And it's just a matter of time before he's able to go all the way.
Yeah, do you feel like Innovation is maybe a little bit better in a league format where he gets to practice for one single opponent and match for like a week, or do you think he's still okay in this kind of format?
No, I think he can definitely be very okay in this format as well. He just needs to get used to it, needs to get used to traveling. Like, I remember when Maru traveled the first time at Gamescom back then, he didn't really look all that good. And even the Rain had a couple of issues with it. It took him a couple of tournaments, but...
Yeah.
You know, it's just experience. You know, we almost forget about it, but I'm sure, Todd, when you were very young, you know, we're talking almost 15 years ago when you started your pro gaming career. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, Todd has been around for a long time. You were excited too, right? You know, the first time you enter a plane, you travel to a different continent.
Yeah.
It just takes a while before you're able to bring your A game to the show.
So we have a Gas 12 here, by the way, by ForGG once again, and Gas 13 by Innovation. So it looks like similar openers to what they like to do. You know, 4G with the Reaper opener, and Innovation, most likely again, Marines into a factory. Really going back to basics, I guess. Back to what they like to do most.
I mean, ForGG, we've seen him open on this map before with that double Reaper into double Hellion, and you know, for Daishi it was a little.
Daishi was going to be fine, I heard, that moment, right?
Todd has been teasing me for 2 weeks now because we casted this TvT together on Cactus Valley, and Todd is like, I think Daishi's in trouble. I was like, no, I think he's going to be fine. Then he didn't wall off. I thought he would drop another depot, but then the Reapers and the Hellions just cruised into the main base, and Daishi typed GG like 3 seconds after I said, I think he's going to be fine. And Todd liked it. He's like, great call, Roddy, great call.
Hey, you're not wrong often, Roddy, so when you are wrong, I need to make sure I capitalize on it.
In TvT, I'd mostly rely on Nathanius, on the Kappa King himself.
Piloting that barracks that dies every time for the hero.
This Reaper is marching across the map. He doesn't, 4G doesn't know yet, because again, he doesn't scout with his worker.
It's weird from the timing that Innovation scouted him at. I think he might have been able to realize that he was close.
It was either right top or left bottom, indeed. Like, I'm a little bit surprised that he goes to the left top. That was the least likely option. But it doesn't really change all that much. It's probably even better, because if he would have hopped in... I love the placement of that supply depot over there. Yeah, well done, Funka. Makes it very hard for the Reaper to hop in. I've been starting to build my pattern over there, because now the Reaper has to hop in on the right side of that depot, and that's just frustrating.
Yeah, but then you can drop some gateways and stuff.
Yeah, just go for a full wall, a big wall. Oh, the Reaper's going to die immediately
so much
again.
Damage.
It's dead.
Immediately, and...
he's super dead.
Man, those Reapers, they've not been worth it at all, I have to say.
No.
Even though they get the info every time, like dying like this immediately, I don't think it's worth it.
I mean, this is like the same speech we're having. Like, it dies and it doesn't kill anything, but at least he knows what he's up against. Well, there has to be a more effective way to figure out what you're up against.
And Innovation, I guess, even though, I mean, with this build, it seems like he does it against everything. Just sometimes he will go Hellions instead of Widow Mines. Even though he's not facing a... I feel like what he's doing right now with the Widow Mine is probably much better against the Gas First. And now he scouted that he wasn't Gas First. He scouted that it was Reaper, but instead he still went for the Widow Mine.
The Widow Mine is, of course, very good against Hellion openings, and maybe that's something he just likes to do against 4G, because we know that 4G loves to poke with Hellions. 4G is going for a similar build to what we saw on Moonlight Madness, right? And I love the opening by 4G, because I think it has a lot of potential. If the other turret goes down and you can avoid it, I really think there's a lot of wiggle room for 4G to do a crazy amount of damage.
You like the elevator?
Yeah, man, I'm a big fan.
L'ascenseur in French.
I'll try to write it down next time.
And in this case, Innovation once again is going for the Cloak Banshee here behind the initial Raven, looking to try and do some damage himself. 4GG though, can he do some damage here this time around?
I think this
is going to be spotted. Oh no, actually no.
I think the Widow Mine is going to connect. That's actually really sick.
Oh, he's moving the Widow Mine.
Yeah.
Spider Sense.
Well, okay, that's really good on one hand and really bad on the other hand, because the Widow Mine getting a guaranteed kill on the one Hellion would have been awesome. If it connects with the medevac, of course, that would be ridiculously good. I don't think he spots it yet. Well, he's gonna. Wow. Okay, this is.
That Marine is a magnet. Oh. He's gonna get one Hellion and damage another quite heavy auto turrets here are gonna go down. At least a single one of them at first. And he's attacking the turret. You talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, this time it was a little bit exposed. This Banshee is very important right now for Innovation. Innovation is so good in always spreading out his units, making sure he doesn't take too much splash damage.
Getting the Raven, that was a big deal, because even saying that guy with 1 hit point, you can repair it. So now losing that Innovation, he's lost quite a bit of initiative, both in offense and defense.
Oh, you forgot about the Widow Mine. 4GG forgot about the Widow Mine. It's going to shoot again, kills just a Marine, so it's not the end of the world. Want to delay that command center even further, but Innovation said no, no, no.
That Banshee across the map, though, this is getting really scary there. For ForGG, I'm not sure he's ready. He's not got any turrets.
He's absolutely not ready, Todd. He doesn't have a turret. The eBay has just finished.
He has
up.
a scan, but I could totally see that Banshee fly out of the scan area.
With 2 Vikings, he's gonna get 1 more shot. I think it's gonna live, actually. Oh my god, it will live. And it has a lot of energy because it defended at first. So a second scan will be
There's
forced.
another one on the way, though, for the main base. You might just shift that, into the natural, fully knowing that there's a turret almost up in the main, but the one natural is going up as well. Does he go for these tanks or these marines here? Yeah, he might just.
Well, these marines actually buy time for the turret to finish up, so that's not too bad. But he's forcing ForGG to stay home for now. With a single scan, that's actually a pretty okay trade.
And
just
the push
3,
was
4
spotted.
marines.
That is massive here for Innovation. He spotted the push. He doesn't have any tanks himself, though. He remade a Raven. And as much as he's got quite a few Hellions here, if he allows ForGG to siege, it's gonna be so hard for him to break out.
Yeah, ForGG will probably try to siege as close as possible, though. I actually think that Innovation can ambush this army. I love the Widow Mine as well on the high ground. That's so good. Will it get a good shot off? Well, what are you going to do now, ForGG? Hellions is going to go for it as these tanks are not sieged. Good pick up there. I think he has to pick up the tanks, maybe. Oh, that's well done. Very well done by ForGG.
Yeah, Innovation has to evacuate here, and he's going to try to catch some reinforcements.
Oh,
the bunker's going up behind this, and he started his own tank production. He's about to get the first one, but now ForGG is going to be on 3 tanks already himself.
Yeah, this is going to be very close. Innovation knows he doesn't want to fight these tanks too soon. He wants to buy time.
Oh, what a crazy game.
Line them up once again, Todd. Well, just 3, and now the tank has popped, so he should be able to take care of these Hellions.
He's going to be sieging from down there. Only 1 single tank there for Innovation. He needs to hold on here. He wants to move on to the semi-finals here of the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom. He's actually going to get that Widow Mine here with the lucky scan.
I think he knew about it. He saw it before. Maybe it got moved. Here goes the Rex again. Don't lose that barracks, Innovation. You don't want to lose it. Oh, he has 2 factories. I guess it's okay for now, because I don't think this is a game where he wants to go up to 3 or 4 or 5 factories anytime soon.
It's 3 on 3 actually.
And he has the Raven again.
Oh, with the PDD, he's going to be able to push this back there. Innovation really sending this back. He can now siege a little bit below this and make sure that he cannot get sieged anymore. Innovation still a little bit ahead in supply somehow. And ForGG is going to be going into some bio here behind this Innovation. Every time Innovation defends this kind of push, he starts the 3rd command center. Immediately starts feeling confident.
Yeah, it's so good. He picked off that medevac with 4 or 5 marines in it as well. That was a very, very juicy pick-off. Extremely well done by Innovation. I love the move out with the Hellions. I love jumping on the fight at first, then knowing when to get the hell out of there, and then trying to do some aggression on the other side of the map just to buy time for his own Vikings and his own Raven. Extremely well played. Super high level Terran play there by Innovation.
And ForGG is still adding on some more barracks there, by the way. He's getting +1. Innovation. He's gonna fly right in there with Vikings. And actually, if he lands them, this is getting dangerous. So he wants to fight here. Is there a PDD?
Nope, there is not. So he has to be a little bit careful. There is another turret though, but there are a bunch of Marines as well to save the day. I believe that was a Viking for a Viking so far. Man,
yeah, there's Marines now, so he's actually...
That was actually a better trade for ForGG. Especially because he survives that fight with 2 Vikings that barely have any HP left.
And that's Innovation for you, by the way. As soon as he starts going into the 3 bases scenario here, he's going to be looking to drop Hellions here and there. Maybe later on, if he gets an armory as well, probably do Hellbats. 44 SCVs to 57. Look at the income difference. Yeah. That is massive there.
And triple CC against the double CC. Like that 3rd orbital is almost done as well. So he's going to be able to scan for days. He's going to be able to drop mules for days. But of course, ForGG is going to push everything into his army once more. Even though he's down in army supply right now. And that does frighten me a little bit.
This has been such a great quarterfinal here so far between these 2. And it all comes down to this here. This final map, Cactus Valley. Remember, winner will move on to face MMA tomorrow at Gamescom. And... yet another Hellion drop there in the natural. Some of these SCVs were already injured, I think, and wants to go for the barbecue there.
And Blue Flame is about to finish up as well.
Oh, the Vikings landed. What a mistake.
Could land a couple. Chasing. And chase then. Chase with a couple, land a couple. ForGG thought he's going to put pretty much all his eggs in one basket. He needs to make an absolutely magnificent play somehow, some way. I have actually no idea what is the best way for ForGG.
He doesn't have a 3rd CC, does he?
No, he doesn't.
I think the best way is to do the same thing as he did in map number 2. Go for that big timing, and I think it's going to be the same thing because there is no 3rd command center. He's just going to go for an attack, and this time maybe try to drop, but I don't think so. I think attacking there like he did last time is probably his best shot, but this time around, Innovation has so much more supply.
Yeah.
Oh my god, even though it's quite a bit of them is in workers and SCVs. Army supply, what is the army supply right now?
I mean, it's heavily.
Oh my God,
It's in favor of innovation, and that's scary enough, especially because innovation is mining so much more right now than ForGG. ForGG needs to get lucky some way. Maybe innovation needs to make a mistake with his Vikings. Let this Stim Bio somehow pick it off. Stim is actually not ready yet. Why is ForGG building a bunker? He's worried about those Hellion counterattacks then,
Yeah, he just wanted to make sure he had the wall of back at home, fully knowing that these two Hellions, they are still out on the map. ForGG right now faced with an impossible choice. I don't think he can go for a third base and macro from there. He has to go for an attack, but he knows that his opponent's ready, and Innovation even gets in there. Fully knowing that ForGG is out on the map right now. He's going to go into the natural. That's even going to slow down the attack more from ForGG. That Sensor Tower, by the way, I have to say, was brilliant because it gives him so much vision.
It's an absolutely great call. Innovation knows he's in a magnificent economical position, and as long as he doesn't get caught out of position, as long as his tanks are not seized in the wrong place, he should be fine. Every second that goes by is a great second for the SKT1 Telecom Terran.
There's a lot of Vikings from both players, but there's a few PDDs available there for Innovation, so keep that in mind.
This is for, I mean, let's also not forget, there is not a single medevac out on the map. So ForGG, he can stim once, maybe twice. Seeker missiles going down in this one tank. He's trying to move forward, but it's going to connect with the Marines.
Wow, you're fighting without the tanks. Feeling that confidence.
I mean, ForGG is in so much trouble. He can't stim, Todd. He has no medevacs.
He can't steam, he can't siege, he's running out of options, but he has to go for it here no matter what. I don't think he can pull back and start another command center. Like I said, he's falling so far behind his supply. He's gonna try to siege slowly, maybe hoping that Innovation goes, I guess, for an attack and does a massive mistake, but in this case it might not even be, because Innovation is just so far ahead in no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. He's ahead in everything. He's ahead in bases, ahead in infrastructure, ahead in workers. He's even getting a sport command center while he's being sort of all in. It's like, I don't know what you're worried about, Innovation, but all you have to do is just defend, and you're going to be more than
practicing his macro for the next series, Roddy.
He's just showing the people at home that his minerals are actually not floating, and he's like, I can do it. He's just throwing down command centers left and right. This is very infuriating right now if your name is ForGG. Like, I'm trying to figure out what is the correct play, but I just don't think there is a correct play.
He never resumed SCV production, so I really don't think he can go for a third base. And look at this. Innovation with yet another great call, splitting two medivacs with some Hellbats in them.
I think what ForGG needs to do right now, Todd, is he needs to try to Protoss Innovation. Just max out on the 42 workers that he currently has, and then just try to win, because you have 160 army supply against the 120 from your opponent. That is pretty much the only way.
Yeah, but I mean, Innovation's on mech. Like, he's gonna have so many tanks no matter what. It's gonna be almost impossible to attack him on the ground.
Yeah, but if he attacks right now, there is absolutely no chance. So you may as well just try to max out on very low worker count. That's like the only chance that he has. And it's not very a good chance. Like, I wouldn't sign up for it right at the beginning.
If he doesn't have a chance now, try to find one later.
Exactly, Todd. I mean, he can drop a couple of mules.
Maybe he can go through the left-hand side of that sensor tower, but I think he's got too much range. Yeah. There is no way he'd have time to surprise with an attack there. That sensor tower's location is actually massive. Maybe if he went all the way around and dropped in the main, but there's two turrets up there.
I mean, a couple of minutes ago, we already said that the time is the enemy right now.
He doesn't have any medivacs, actually, so he can't even drop. ForGG is going to lose patience and finally go for it. I think Innovation has enough. He wants to move on to the semifinals there. ForGG knows he's all out of options. And that fight, he's not gone his way at all. He's lost pretty much everything.
I wouldn't even call it a fight, as Innovation still has so much left. Has stores, tanks, Hellbats, has way more workers, has 4 orbital commands, and the production tab pretty much tells the tale of this
As if he has a choice to actually pull back home. Come on, man.
It's just 2 or 3 Marauders at a time for ForGG. Nobody ever wants to give up. When you tap out of this game, your run is over. Your run at this Intel Extreme Masters is done, but ForGG knows what time it is. 2 bases against 4.
Oh, Innovation, even taking a 4th base here with this. ForGG is just gonna fly his main to another base. He's gonna be trying to mine a little bit more, getting Malders here out. I think ForGG at this point is basically hoping that Innovation attacks into him and loses everything, but he has so little anyway that I don't think it even matters if that happened. 45 army supply to 94. Innovation looks so good in that game.
Yeah, he looked very solid. I mean, especially that one moment, right, with the Hellions, where he jumped on that opportunity immediately. He's like, I'm not going to wait until you siege up. I'm just going to go for it.
ForGG looked devastated here a second ago. He actually shook his head. He knows that he's basically, there is almost no way he can do it here anymore. He knows that he's in so much trouble, but he just cannot accept it just yet. He wants to give it another shot. He wants to try to attack somewhere. He's scanning, he sees the army of Innovation. He doesn't even have medivacs.
No.
He never had medivacs.
He never
over
had
this.
medevac because the Viking numbers were so important all along. But innovation was just so much richer that he never fell behind, and he also had that one Raven, you know, in case he would have started losing it. So overall, ForGG is just gonna try to sing this one out, like you said. Hope that innovation makes a terrible attack into siege tanks, but you know, innovation is not a man of terrible attacks in general.
Yeah. On the contrary, he's very, very patient. Usually when he loses, that will be because he misread something and couldn't hold whatever was being thrown at him. And in this case, look at the Nathanias Rax. It's still there, man. He's kept it alive after losing it initially.
It took a little bit of a beating. It didn't die. A couple scratches here and there, a couple bruises. Still going strong. Innovation.
He's scanning all over the place.
Yeah. He's like, why is this guy still in this game? Like, wasn't he like semi-committed to this attack? And it's like, I have no idea. Obviously, you know, as a player, you're always worried. This is game 5 in a best of 5 in the quarterfinals of Intel Extreme Masters. You're not gonna move out just because you think you're winning. It's like, oh, okay, I think I won. Let's just do it. And then suddenly you end up losing your army. And
I don't
like,
think anybody will blame Innovation here for taking his time, and he's finally going to be going for an attack here. He thinks he has enough, and he probably does. Vikings going to get in there. Hellbats being unloaded on top of this army here on the left-hand side. Innovation is going to be moving on here to the semi-finals of the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom in a second. ForGG finally taps out, and Innovation does it after 5-game series here.
after being in a 2-1 deficit as well in this series, showed a lot of heart there, showed a lot of character, definitely struggled a little bit with the style that ForGG was bringing at first. As, of course, ForGG is always so aggressive. Definitely a very entertaining series, Tom. I think a lot of people were really hyped for it, and it definitely had its moments.
That was very action-packed, to be honest. You know, Terran versus Terran, not necessarily always that action-packed, maybe in terms of openers, but if nobody comes out ahead, sometimes he can really, you know, slow down and be stealth for a little bit. Not between these two guys. These guys are champs. They were fighting the whole way, Hellions, 2 units against 2 units, sometimes, you know, just Vikings against Vikings. And in this case, Innovation eventually gets the better end of things. And I have to say, if I was MMA, I don't know if maybe he's regretting his words from earlier, because that was pretty scary here by Innovation, even though he lost 2 maps.
I mean, it is very useful for MMA. MMA has been able to sit down. MMA has been able to watch these games, so maybe he's been taking some notes, just like Daishi. Daishi, you got some material out there to work with. We believe in you, buddy. Eventually,
Play as good as Innovation, not better.
Eventually, you'll get a map or 2 as well. Don't worry about it. Great semifinals ahead of us, of course, tomorrow. Sue against Fantasy, that's going to be sick, and then of course the TvT. But for now, let's just hear from the man who just advanced, Innovation himself, as he's on the desk with Sean and James.
Lovely job, boys, as always. Joined here by our last semi-finalist, Innovation. Congratulations on going through the quarterfinals. Got to jump right in there. Was that series as easy or as expected as you thought it would be? Because that was a close one. That was really, really close.
제 마지막 IEM 게임스콤 이제 4강을 남겨두고 마지막 이제 승차를 하셨는데 어떻게 박주 선수와 경기 원래 예상한 대로 진행이 된 건지 아니면 좀 어땠나요?
그냥 생각보다 상대 선수분이 되게 잘하셔가지고 되게 고전한 것 같아요.
I didn't expect the series to be as difficult as it was. Yeah.
Just
Enough said.
enough said.
Yeah, I like that.
Zaid, you want to jump in?
Sure. Were you expecting at all ForGG to be as aggressive as he was in those games? Because he was trying to end them pretty early. He didn't really want to take it to the late game, as we saw in that last game, and that's what happens. So that's my question.
대부분이 오전제 하면서 박주 선수가 좀 초반에 좀 약간 좀 중점을 좀 주고 힘을 좀 주고 게임을 많이 플레이를 했었는데 박주 선수가 뭐 이런 식으로 계속 꾸준하게 계속 이렇게 공격적으로 나올 거라고 예상을 하셨었나요?
예, 첫 판 해보고 나서 상대방 스타일이 좀 공격적이라는 걸 느꼈었는데 그래도 생각보다 너무 좀 못 맞기도 했고 되게 강한 공격이어가지고 예, 좀 어렵게 이긴 것 같아요.
평상시에 VOD 같은 건 안 보고 오셨어요?
아니요, 최대한 분석을 했는데 상대방분이 제가 계속 똑같은 걸 하다 보니까 좀 거기에 맞는 플레이를 하니까 조금 제가 어렵더라고요.
So I actually got a very clear understanding of exactly how ForGG plays or ForGG normally plays in TvT. I watched VODs and stuff. That's what I asked. I added if he watched any VODs. But I watched VODs and stuff. I thought I had him pretty locked down solid, but I needed to know exactly what his mentality, what his preparation was playing in that last series with me. So after seeing that, I'm like, okay, so this guy's gonna be aggressive, like whatever in builds that he chooses. And somehow, I guess he kind of had a better understanding. I guess his preparation was good. So he knew that my go-to builds, my standard builds. So the early aggressions that he showed, sometimes I couldn't block them. Like it was a little bit more stronger than I thought it was. So.
Okay. Well, moving forward now, you've reached the semi-finals for the first time at an Intel Extreme Masters, and you're going to be going up against MMA, a player that you know very well. You've traveled a lot with each other over the last couple of years, especially with all the, the Acer, being a former teammate with him. What are your thoughts thinking about this? MMA's not in the best shape right now. Is he feeling secretly very confident for this?
자, 이번에 IEM 4강 처음 올라오셨는데 그다음 상대가 문성원 선수거든요. 문성원 선수 하면은 뭐 에이서에서도 같이 한수밥을 먹은 적도 있었고 대회도 많이 다닌 적도 있었고 아까 문성원 선수가 자기가 지금 폼이 좀 많이 안 좋다 그랬는데 이시영 선수한테도 뭐 해외 나가면 좀 마탱이가 간다는 듯 이런 얘기를 했었거든요. 어떻게 생각하시는지요?
성원이 형 이랑 좀 몇 번을 해봤었는데 대회에서 되게 좀 잘 하셔가지고 열심히 해야 될 것 같아요.
I've played against MMA several times at tournaments. I know he's a very solid player. He may not have shown it today, but I'm gonna have to step up my game as well then.
All right, so let's play a little bit of a game of imagine who's going to be in the finals, and let's say it is Innovation and it is Sue. Is that the match that he's been expecting to play against, and is that a match that he can win?
자, 이번에 대회를 올 때만 시청자들도 그렇고 많은 전문가들도 그 결승은 어윤수 대 이신영이 될 것 같다라고 얘기를 했는데 아직도 이신영 선수도 그렇게 생각을 하고 계시는지요?
네, 아마 그렇게 될 것 같아요.
Most likely.
Innovation, everybody. Going through, congratulations on the victory today, and we'll see you at Gamescom tomorrow, Innovation. Thank you very much, James. Let's bring up the bracket for one final time. We've finished all of the best of fives and all of the quarterfinals for today. Here it is, officially confirmed. Sue and Fantasy is the first semi-final, and of course the second one is going to be MMA versus Innovation. Two fantastic semi-finals. I'm going to be bringing you that live tomorrow at Gamescom, so don't miss out that at all tomorrow. Joining us back on the desk now is of course Todd. Excellent commentary and beautiful ninja moves to get in there once Innovation's left.
Thank you. Yesterday I didn't do that, but today I was like, maybe they will need me, so I will come around.
I know. I
didn't go to change and take off my makeup straight away, so.
That's good, because I was looking around for Rotterdam, and he's definitely already gone. I have no idea where he is right now, so I'm glad to
I think a cheeky ones.
Having a cheeky one, yeah, that's Roddy's style, huh? So final thoughts then on the games that we've seen played and the games that are ahead.
We had some really good games here again today, and I feel like the favorites, they've all delivered. In the end, ForGG put up a hell of a fight there against Innovation, and these semi-finals, man, a lot of fans' favorite and a lot of big matches. It's going to be great.
To be honest, I think when looking at the tournament players from the very get-go, from the very beginning, these were the players that we expected to be there, and everyone wanted to be there, as Todd said.
Yeah, it's funny how it worked out in the end, despite like a lot of these players in pretty big danger mode. I mean, look at that last series, it really went the distance, and a lot of these players have been tested, but they still made it to where they should be, technically, based on their skill.
Is this still a Sue Innovation finals, guys, no matter what happens in the semis?
I don't know, man. Like,
You don't know?
ForGG took him to the distance. Can he do it again against MMA tomorrow? I think that's going to be a very close match.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. That's absolutely a Sue against Innovation grand finals.
Hey, I was right about the ForGG Innovation, all right? That went 3-2 just like I predicted. It might not have been our games, but it was still... I know what I'm talking about.
All right, well, we'll see who's going to be right tomorrow. Of course, both of you guys are going to be joining us there. Thank you very much for the broadcasting and commentary today. But that is us done in the ESL studios for the fourth day of the Intel Extreme Masters. We're going to be back tomorrow for the final day, the top four of the championship Sunday, where we will crown an Intel Extreme Masters champion for the second time in Season 10. Make sure to check out plays.tv for all the action that you've missed so far. Something's funny about it, random people laughing at me. Did I mess up?
No, you're fine.
I think I was doing okay, but
You're
there's people
just
laughing
fine.
at something. I don't know what it is.
Roddy's hiding behind the TV.
Roddy!
Come out
There he
here.
is. We knew he was somewhere. Make sure to check out plays.tv for all the action that you've missed, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.